my guest today is WWE NXT superstar Tyson DuPont. Thank you for making time and thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Of course, thank you so much for having me, man. Appreciate it.
I just want to start off with at the beginning, if you don't mind. You were born in Haiti.
Yep.
At what age did you move to the USA?
I left Haiti at 9 years old and moved to New York.
How was it growing up in Haiti as opposed to growing up in the USA at a young age?
I wouldn't say it had its rough moments. I feel like my childhood in Haiti consists of me being in a constant state of fear. Because my mom sent me away to be away from the violence so I could go to school. I lived with almost like a different family so I could attend a really good school. And I just remember certain times on my way to school, I would see protests going on, people setting cars on fire and tires in the street. And I just always remembered just being scared and afraid of being kidnapped all the time. And I couldn't wait for the opportunity to leave. So once I did get the chance, it was kind of like my calling, and I just took advantage. And I always remember telling myself that once I do get the chance to go to America, I'm going to make the best of it and just become great, become something of myself, because a lot of kids in Haiti don't get that chance to leave,
And you mentioned growing up with all that type of violence. Do you think that Haiti has changed from back then to now, or would you feel a little bit more safe now?
It's gotten worse. Our president was assassinated 2 years ago. It's pretty much been downhill ever since. There's chaos right now. There's a travel ban, I believe. It's gotten really bad. So definitely, I'm afraid to even go back and visit. I haven't gone back since I left. So it's hard to see. And I'm hoping, to continue working hard and making something of myself and being in a position one day in the future where I can make a direct impact to the kids or to my community, give back somehow.
Mentioning how you grew up with all that violence to moving to the USA, you guys ended up moving to, correct me if I'm wrong, to Nyack, New York?
Yes, that's correct.
So growing up in Nyack, New York, you ended up going to Nyack High School, and that's where you started doing track and field. How was that growing up, and what made you get into that in the first place?
It was cool. I started out playing soccer. I played soccer throughout middle school up until I got to high school. Then I got into lifting and track. And I also played football my junior and senior year as well. How was that? I got into it because when I was a freshman in high school, my cousin at the time, she was a senior, and she talked me into going out for the track team with her. And as a freshman in high school, I remember throwing 25 feet. And it was just something I just always would go back to. And I just, over time, all the hard work I was putting in the weight room for football started translating into the circle. And I kept working on my technique. And by senior year, I became really good at it to the point where I was like, this is something I could potentially get a scholarship for. But it was always like I gave it everything I got, even when I was throwing 25 feet to when I was throwing 53 feet in my senior year. So it's always been my thing to give everything I got, to chase greatness. And I think because I was so driven and I was so optimistic, I kept working hard, and just opportunities came from that. But it all came back from that hunger of wanting to become better and take advantage of the opportunities that I got.
And when you were doing track and field, was that something you were really passionate about? And is that something that you just wanted to do in high school as you were young, and then going into college you were looking into other sports or other type of things that you could do?
I would say over time, track and field became something I was really passionate about. At first, initially, I wanted to play, college football, and like I wanted to do both in a sense, But then, by my junior year, I was getting recruited more for track and field than I was for football, and it was almost like, oh, okay. So it's just like such a shift in my focus. I put equal amount of effort in both sports and preparing, but I was, getting looked at more for track and field. I made more of an impact because I only played football my junior and senior year. So as a junior, I didn't play as much. I didn't get that much exposure, but then came back my senior year and played every snap and started. So the lack of history of what I could do on the field kind of, did not give me the exposure and put me in front of these coaches. So, yeah, I would say it was equal. I wanted to play both in college. I really wanted to play college football because I felt like I had so much more in there. But the way it played out, I went to a D2 school, St. Thomas Aquinas College, on a partial track scholarship, and worked really hard to earn a full ride to get my master's from the University of South Alabama. So everything played out how I guess it meant to, No regrets.
Yeah, and you mentioned you play football, which is my next question. At what point did you decide to transition from track and field completely into football? And then at what point did you decide, maybe this is not for me? Because there comes a point where you did eventually transition completely to wrestling.
There was never a transition to where this is not for me or this is what I'm going to focus on. It was more me constantly trying to test myself and to see what else am I capable of doing. Even when I did play football, it was more like I stopped playing soccer and then I went out for the football team to try something different because I knew it would make me better being exposed and being in a position of being uncomfortable and being tested. Track and field was never like, oh, I'm going to stop this and do this completely. It was more like I went post-collegiate. I was training for the Olympics. There's not a lot of money on track and field. I was working multiple jobs, trying to keep my Olympic dreams alive, working security, coaching, teaching, and stuff like that, and still training as a professional. And when the WWE hit me up, it was almost like an opportunity that I couldn't really pass by. And it was like, it felt right. As soon as I knew it wasn't a scam and it was a real WWE reaching out, I knew this is where I was meant to be, and all the training I was doing was preparing me for that moment. So it was almost like me transitioning to that next chapter. I honestly love track and field, and it's always going to be a big part of my life. And who knows, I may come out of retirement one day and, compete for Haiti again. It's not something that I've completely closed off, and it's always going to be a part of me. So, and like, I ended up making the Haitian national rugby team also for rugby sevens. They flew me out for a tryout and made the team as well as that. So it was like just trying to prove to myself and to the world that I am limitless and I can accomplish anything I put my mind to. It wasn't just I'm just going to pick this one. I want to just prove to myself I can do it all. And
yeah, that's wonderful.
Motto of chasing greatness,
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear, and I hope I could see you in the future representing Haiti. But you did mention the WWE contacting you, but that's where I want to get into. Do you think this would be a possibility? Maybe let's say back then, because I know they started a whole new thing with the NILs. With the college and stuff, so back then most of these things wouldn't be possible. So you think if you were maybe a couple more years back, do you think you would have ever got an opportunity with the WWE?
I think it would have happened eventually, just because of my athletic abilities and And the reason I got exposed or they seen me is because I was going viral at the time. At the time they reached out to me, I was closing down up until like close to 1 million followers on TikTok. I've had several videos on ESPN, SportsCenter, Overtime. So that exposure was there. And I felt like I wasn't part of the NIL deal because before it was passed, I was already graduated. But I feel like if I had more, if it happened earlier, it probably would have been something that I would have been more exposed to. But honestly, I think the way it played out, it was perfect. You know what I mean? It was never something that I dreamed of doing. It was kind of like that unexpected success where it's like, wow, I never thought about this. I'm going to take the chance anyway. And come to find out, I'm picking it up pretty nicely. And I'm excited to see where my career goes from here on out.
And how was it like in the first couple of days training at the PC Center? Because, you know, I'm pretty sure you were very nervous. How did you feel that day? Or how did you feel like knowing that day was going to come up?
It was exciting. I was excited for the new journey. And my story is a little different because I actually got hurt on my second day of training. I ended up I tore my labrum in my left shoulder, and I was out for about a month. I had to do PT and rehab to get back. But I feel like even with that happening, it only made me hungrier to continue proving myself. And I knew there's a reason that happened. Part of me wanted to ask, like, oh, man, why is this happening to me? I just got here. But at the same time, I knew everything happened for a reason, and it actually made my story even deeper. You know what I mean? Because nothing was handed to me. I had to earn everything. So, the fact that I'm where I'm at right now with everything I've gone through only solidifies everything I've been doing, that I am chasing greatness, that I am limitless, and nothing can stop me. And that's all I'm going to continue to do.
And you mentioned that you played numerous sports in college and stuff. So how was it for you to adopt the sports that you were training for into wrestling?
In college, when I was in college, I mostly did track and field my college career. During undergrad, I played soccer for intramurals and stuff like that. But it was post-collegiate where I really tried different. I played rugby and stuff like that. But in transitioning from wrestling from that, I think everything that I've done, the way I've trained, prepared me to be a wrestler. Because I'm extremely explosive, extremely athletic, and some of the wrestling moves have come easy to me because I played so many different sports. I feel like my body was able to adapt naturally to new environments. And me not specifically just training one specific way and one sport allowed me to be able to be molded into something new. So I think it was very beneficial that I played and did a lot of different sports growing up.
So would you be able to tell us a little bit about what made you want to get your master's in sports, your master's in sports management?
Yeah, so I got my bachelor's in sports management as well, and that was one of the programs that I got accepted to for the University of South Alabama. And the reason I wanted to get my master's in sports management is, one, I wanted to coach, not just coach track and field collegiately or football, but I also wanted to get into like facility management, game day operations, because back in New York, during my undergrad, I had the opportunity to work for a minor league baseball team called the Rockland Boulders, and where I was part of the game day operations staff, where, set up the stadium for games, after the games breakdown, fans, interaction, like not ticket sales, but like skating tickets in the front gate, working security and stuff like that. And that became something I was really drawn to, and I wanted to do that, at the level of NBA or NFL or MLS one day. So getting my master's in that was the goal. And then, different opportunities came, and, I'm here where I'm at right now, but that's the reason that I majored in it, hoping to work in the sports field and be around sports.
And as you mentioned, different opportunities came, and now you're with NXT. So my question to you is, how did you come up with your name? Was it like a name given to you, or did you suggest it to them?
So I pretty much pitched those names. When it came time for it, they were like, give me a list of 5 first names and 5 last names. So I just gave them a bunch of random names, but that was the name they, in a way, picked, because it cleared with the legal team, and then they asked me, hey, do you like this name? And I was like, yeah, I do, actually. And that's how it was chosen.
And now in NXT, you're teaming up with Tyreek.
Yeah, Tyreek. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to mispronounce his last name.
No, it's okay.
So you guys are teaming up together now as a tag team, and was that like a corporate decision, or what? Did you guys pitch that? Hey, can we be tag team? Did you guys get along in training, or did you guys know each other from before in college? How did that come along?
Yeah, so it was definitely an office decision. They put us together randomly for a match, and they liked how we looked together. The chemistry was there and kind of stayed that way. But our story's a little special. Him and I, we knew each other back when I was in New York. When I was at St. Thomas Aquinas College of Division II, he was at a JUCO, Monroe College in New Rochelle, and we threw against each other a couple of times. He then transferred to Eastern Michigan, and then I transferred to South Alabama. And then we threw against each other again in the first round of nationals, which was pretty cool. And then we got invited to the same tryout, not knowing that we were going to be there, and we got signed together. So the fact that we're tag partners now, it just feels like it was meant to be, because we had different journeys, different paths, and somehow we were brought together. And now, we're about to take on this journey, chasing, greatness still, chasing some gold, hopefully one day to have a WrestleMania moment, but also, be tag team champions. So I think our journey's just getting started, in a way, our paths cross, not knowing it was going to lead us to where we are now, but it all makes sense now, and I'm excited to see how far we end up together.
And you mentioned, your journey with him and everything, but the journey first started, you guys in NXT Level Up. How was that? How was it teaming up together? Was it debuting on NXT Level Up?
And compared to NXT?
No, I'm gonna ask you about that one, the next question. But I'm curious, how was NXT Level Up? Because they do get shown on. So the reason I'm curious is because I want to know your thoughts too on how is it wrestling on Level Up as opposed to NXT, because one of them's on Peacock and one of them's on cable television. So I'm curious to know what are your thoughts on that and the differences, and do you like it, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. To me, the biggest difference came down to just confidence within myself. I feel like when I debuted, it was more like that excitement, you know what I mean? Excited to get better, the opportunity. And I think we've had almost 10 level up matches before we debuted on NXT. And once I did, the biggest difference was I feel ready, I feel confident, and I know what I'm doing. So being on Level Up was a huge opportunity, and I think it prepared me to be ready for live television. Everything else, you know what I mean? To me, I didn't feel that big of a difference because, whether it was live, whatever it was not, whatever it was a house show, I went out there and gave it all my all, just like in everything that I do. So to me, it's not that big of a difference. I just went out there and showed out, did my thing for the crowd, and and just waited for my opportunity patiently. And I think they're starting to come now.
And could you tell us a little bit more on your match against the Good Brothers on the debut match?
Yeah, man, I think that moment was so surreal to not only debut on a PLE, but to debut against two guys that I believe are legends. That was like such an honor to share the ring, and honestly, that was one of my best performances where I felt extremely confident in what I was doing. And, yeah, till this day, I'm still riding on the high from that 2 weeks ago. And it's just made me realize that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I know I belong, and I could definitely see me and my boy Tyreek main eventing WrestleMania one day. And all starts now,
You would love to main event WrestleMania, and who would you like to face in your dream match? Maybe two different tag teams, or do you have like a particular tag team that you and your partner would like to face?
See, that's a good question. I haven't really thought that deep into who specifically I'd like to have a match with at WrestleMania. It's just like the thought of, hey, I know we could do this. We got something special here, and I strongly feel like we could get there one day. But some of the guys we want to work with, the Bloodline, Jay and Jimmy Uso, Street Profits, you know what I mean? Pretty deadly. Honestly, the way I see it, it really doesn't matter who. I just want the opportunity to work with other talented superstars. And I think at this point, it don't matter who, because we're going to put on a banger with whoever we go against. And I'm sure, like, over times, when we do get more experience, we'll develop chemistry with a specific team. But as of right now, I just want to live in the moment and take in whatever opportunity is given to us and make the best of it.
What advice would you give to an upcoming college star or upcoming NXT star?
My biggest advice would be to stay patient. Stay patient, stay positive, and stay hungry. A lot of us, sometimes, work really hard, and when the opportunities don't come right away, we often get discouraged and thinking it's because we're not good enough. And it's never that. It's always waiting for the right timing and trusting the process and still watering your seeds that you're planting every day and just patiently waiting until the roots dig deep, you have good foundation to build something great, and then you could reap the fruits of your labor. I'll definitely say just keep chasing greatness. Just know that they have the ability to become and create everything they desire. And in due time, they will become that greatness they're chasing.
And as you mentioned, all the stuff that, it takes to be great and get to greatness, I'm curious because I'm not sure if you're allowed to speak more on this, but is there anything about NXT that goes more behind the scenes that people may not really know about, or because they say Shawn Michaels runs stuff and stuff like that, but who trains you guys, and are you guys specifically given a trainer? Is there anything that you're able to let us know that would actually explain the whole experience at NXT better for somebody that is not familiar with the product?
Yeah, all I can say pretty much is that we are trained by some of the best coaches in the world. We have the best medical staff, and they invest so much in us, and we're their priority, making sure we're taken care of mentally, physically, emotionally. So yes, Shawn Michaels is in charge, but we also have many great coaches underneath him that, have individual classes with different individual groups of superstars, and we're taught the best technique. We're taught how to do everything safely. So just to be in the same room with some of the coaches and leaders that we have is an absolute honor. And, us being out there is a direct representation of everything they're investing in us, so yeah.
And as you mentioned all those things, Um, I'm a little curious too about, is there like a margin error? Like, what is the margin error in NXT? Like, because let's be honest, sometimes people don't work out, and so I'm curious: do they give you like a specific time, or how does that stuff work?
Well, it's like being any professional athlete. So there's yearly cuts. There's cuts every 6 months. We're constantly being supervised and graded based on our performance. So when it comes to what I mean, who's working hard, who's really trying, and because there's so many great talent, those people that are not working as hard are sometimes exposed. But the talent at the PC right now is at an all-time high, and it's like an honor to be a part of that. You know what I mean? So, everybody works hard to get to the WWE, but we all have to work, 100 times harder to stay. That's the hardest part, So the goal is, to get better every day, to perform, and become the superstar that the world deserves to see.
So what you're telling me is next year on the draft, I'm gonna hear your name being called to be drafted as SmackDown, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
Man, that would be amazing. I think SmackDown would be like amazing for you.
Yeah, and man, whatever brand chooses me, man.
I don't want to make it too long, take too much of your time. Is there anything you would like to add?
No, I think that was pretty good. You asked great questions. I just want the world to know that I'm not chasing greatness for me. I want to show the world that, just a kid from Haiti, just a kid from Nyack, made it this far. Not because I'm any different from them, but it's just I believe that in my abilities and my hard work and trusting in that has gotten to where I'm at, and I'm excited to see how far I go. But I want other people to know they can do the same thing too. They just gotta work hard and be hungry and never give up.
I'm gonna go a little bit off subject here, but the reason I want to ask this is because there's a lot of wrestling fans nowadays, and as they mentioned, wrestling is cool now. So there's a lot of people are coming back to wrestling, and with all the storylines going on right now, and you guys being a tag team, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on the current Bloodline storyline, and would you be ever interested in being in a storyline against the Bloodline?
Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned it. That could be somebody I look forward to going against at WrestleMania. So yeah, definitely could see myself with being against the Bloodline, and I think the Bloodline story is absolutely masterpiece. The storytelling, how they're carrying this on years down the line is absolutely amazing. And I definitely hope one day to partake in something as beautiful as that story.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
No problem.
And like I mentioned, I'm looking forward to seeing you on the draft next year. So when you do get drafted, just
No, I got you, man. That's the goal. We're gonna keep chasing greatness, no matter what.
Thank you so much, and I always look forward to seeing you on NXT every week, and it's a pleasure watching you perform. I just want you to know that you're doing amazing, and you're, one of my favorite
thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
So, thank you so much. Take care.
No problem. Take care.